Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Got a little bit of news. This isn't breaking news at this point. I'm sure that you've heard about it, but I did still want to give my thoughts on it as the Chicago Bears are placing Ryan Bates, the guy who was supposed to be filling it at right guard. I think that a lot of people hoped would eventually step in and be the starter at right guard, on IR. This basically means that Ryan Bates will not be available for the Chicago Bears for at least the next 4 weeks. We're going to break that down and talk about Colin Johnson getting elevated to the 53-man roster. Good to see him getting an opportunity as well. If you haven't done so, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Shout out to the chat in the building. It's Crimson Dig said, yo, greetings and go Bears. We got Bizzo Joe in the building, Alex Houston in the building, Noah P with a yurt. Shout out to Jacob Capona Don with a yurt, shorty on guy. TM said, oh, well, there goes the season. I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we're there where the season is gone yet, but listen, it is a big loss for the Chicago Bears right now. Reason being is we saw a good chunk of Ryan Bates last week because of the struggles that you saw from Nate Davis. And really, here's the thing at the end of the day. The struggles from Nate Davis were not because Nate Davis was not playing well. The struggles from Nate Davis felt like an effort thing. It felt like an energy thing. And the problem is when you come into the season with the offensive line kind of shaped out the way that you did, right? You have to rely on guys to be there to give you that energy. And Nate Davis just didn't do that. So they bring in Ryan Bates. He played about 68% of the Bears offensive snaps in week 1 against the Titans. I mean, like, that is a guy who you thought you were coming into this week with as your starting right guard. Now you have to go back to the guy who you just benched in that first game and say, hey, we know we just sat you down. We know that we want you to be better, but you just refuse to be. But go out there and figure it out. Make sure that you don't get our offensive, our young quarterback killed. Make sure that you're out there pushing the defensive lineman well so that we can run the football, right? Like, it's going to be a tough uphill battle for the middle of that offensive line all season. We kind of knew that anyway, but now with this blow where you can't get Ryan Bates back, he won't be eligible for the next 4 games, which means the first time that we'll be able to get him back is week 6. That is his first time where he will be available back to the Chicago Bears. That's tough. That's tough. It really is, because your offensive line was in an abysmal state in week 1. Now, here's the thing at the end of the day. The one thing about Nate Davis that I guess if you're holding out hope, and I don't think most Bears fans are holding out hope on Nate Davis at this point, but if maybe you're sitting there saying, maybe we can get something out of this. Maybe we can make something happen with this where it still works in our favor. The one thing that I will say is that, right, Nate Davis, when he's engaged, does have talent. Do we see Nate Davis more engaged this week after he was benched? Because, I mean, like, that's my biggest issue with this offensive line. Coleman Shelton, I told y'all what Coleman Shelton was going to be, right? He's a center who a team was like, we don't really want you here. Right? So you kind of knew what that was going to be. You're not sitting here surprised by the Coleman Shelton situation that, oh, he's not talented enough to be out there. We knew that already, but that may get better coming this week because there's not a Tavondre Sweat on the other side. But I do think that there's talent on that defensive line. I mean, there's no question about it with Houston's defensive line, so they can still get after you. But I can deal with Coleman Shelton not being good because that's a Ryan Poles issue, right? And I told y'all I had issues with him not addressing the center position this offseason. I told y'all I had issues with him not addressing the offensive line more this offseason, but you went after the offensive weapons. Now you got to see how that's going to work. Coleman Shelton just isn't very good at football. There's not much you can do about that. Nate Davis, I think, has talent. Nate Davis, I think, can actually play the game. Nate Davis, for some reason, just doesn't want to play. And he doesn't want to play the game the right way. He doesn't want to play the game Fluce's way. He doesn't want to play the game with that hits principle. And so that's why you knew that the Bears wanted to move away from him, wanted to get him out of here and bring somebody else in. Unfortunately, that did not work out with Ryan Bates going to IR now. I mean, you're going to be in some interesting situations now where if Nate Davis goes down, and this is early in the season, so you still got a lot of season left. You think about it, right? When Ryan Bates is finally able to come back, um, you're going to have a guy for still the next 11 games of the season. You're still going to be in a really good position to utilize this, but utilize him, I should say. But it is tough when the guy that Ryan Poles brought in this offseason, who was supposed to start as your starting center, is and ended up turning into, I don't know why I had a stroke right there. Y'all saw that? Ended up turning into your backup right guard. When you have those kind of issues pop up, you kind of look back on the GM and go, hey, Ryan, we knew this was a problem already. Why didn't we address this offseason? And I get it. You can't address everything in one offseason. I'm not sitting here telling you that you can. I'm not sitting here telling you that you should. I'm not sitting here telling you that I want to see him break the bank and just go out and sign guys, although I would have liked a Connor Williams to be added to this team. But one thing for me that has always stood out to me about how Ryan Poles has built this team is it does feel backwards. Now, that doesn't mean that this can't be talented. Doesn't mean this can't be a good season. You got to figure out how to scheme it the right way for that to happen. But most teams try to build their team from the lines out. You build your offensive lines up, you build your defensive lines up, and then you move your way out, right? Ryan Poles did it the other way. He said, give me the quarterback, give me the wide receivers, give me the running back, give me the safeties, give me the DBs, give me the linebackers, and we'll figure the lines out last. Well, now you're in a spot where you didn't figure out one side of the line, and you got major questions heading up against a defensive line that is going to absolutely be looking to get after you. Now, I do want to know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Before we get to 200 in the chat, let's get over 100 in the chat. Appreciate y'all for rocking with your boy, man. Lot of concerns coming into this week. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Ryan Bates' name on the injury report yesterday, you kind of sat there going, "Oh, here we go." And now seeing that he's going to IR today, I think is going to be, a tough situation for the Chicago Bears to be in. What y'all got in the comments here? Let's see what you guys are commenting in. What Crimson said, I told y'all it's the quits principle. It's not the hits principle. It's the quits principle. Well, I will say this. Most of the team seems to be showing that hits principle. Nate Davis, in his mind, it definitely may be the quits principle. Rod D says, if Nate Davis plays bad and gets benched, is someone going to replace him or no? Well, I think the guy that you're looking at right now is probably Matt Pryor as your backup right guard. You're not in a great situation at the right guard position. You kind of felt like you had some depth there. Matt Pryor showed some interesting things in preseason, but again, Matt Pryor is a backup, usually a third string type of guy. I'm not sitting there telling you that, Matt Pryor, I can't sit there and tell you that Matt Pryor is going to walk in and all of a sudden he's just going to have everything figured out and this team's going to be just rolling behind him. You know what I mean? Like, he is a massive player out there and somebody who you would think could get you some really good run. But, again, there's that talent level. And dare I say, we had talked about the opportunities that were going to have to be there to see our young right left tackle, I should say, get an opportunity in this game. This may be the kind of opportunity that you end up being in. Because right now, when you're looking at the offensive line, yes, he is your backup left tackle right now. He's also your backup left guard, kind of, not really. Matt Pryor kind of swing on both of those. Ryan Bates was also kind of swing on both of those, but you may end up having to see some run from Karan Amageji sooner than you thought you were going to have to see some run. And if that is the case, I propose that we try to do something that can invoke greatness on one side of the line. I want to talk about that. We're going to take a quick break here and get to a couple of ad reads real quick. This is going to be a little bit shorter pod, but you'll get to a quick break, get to a couple of ad reads here real quick. And then on the flip side of that, we're going to come back and I want to talk about how the Chicago Bears can try and add greatness to this line to replace the struggles that we have. We'll talk about that right after this. In Bears Nation, it's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. Just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze, BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you a 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Appreciate y'all pulling up with the Windy City Breeze, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. Hey, man, we got to talk about what's going on with the Chicago Bears offense right now. I mean, struggles on the offensive line. Struggles on the offensive line as Ryan Bates is being placed on IR, which means Nate Davis will be the starting right guard on Sunday. But I think that there may be a solution if you have to try and fix this situation that the Chicago Bears have found themselves in. Need y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. All right, so we're talking about, who's going to get an opportunity on Sunday. It seems like Nate Davis is going to be, the starting right guard yet again. I just feel like the effort from him has been poor. I feel like, he's a talented player, but if you're not going to put your heart in the game, what are you doing out there? And if you want to make a change, and it seems like Matt Eberflus felt the same way, which is why he sat him down. You know what I mean? It's why Matt Eberflus said, we don't want you out here. He only played 18 snaps last Sunday in Sunday's game. Ryan Bates got majority of those snaps, and now you've got to put that guy back out there. But if you feel like you're not getting enough from Nate Davis this coming Sunday, to me, why not make a change to something that we watched last season that was great? Karan Amageji, I think long-term, is your starting right tackle, or left tackle, I should say. Karan Amageji, long-term, is your starting left tackle. In my mind, I think that's why you drafted him. But right now, he talked about being cross-trained at multiple positions. The Bears are willing to cross-train him at multiple positions. They like the versatility with him. Why not put in Amageji at left guard if it comes to a struggle? and move Tevin Jenkins back where we saw something dominant on that right side. And that was when Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright were next to each other. I mean, like, if you're being honest, last season, when you saw those two next to each other, that time where Nate Davis was out due to injury, that right side of that line was deadly. It was road grading guys. When they were running to the right, I think that it was absolutely manhandling guys that were in front of it. I would love to see that combination come back because that was a combination to me that was great. And if you're going to take a hit somewhere, right? What the Bears are kind of trying to do here is you're trying to like, all right, we'll put we got talent over here. We got talent over here. We're trying to even this thing out. But if you feel like Karan Amageji is going to be that guy on the left side, why not put him out there now? Get him reps. Flus has shown a propensity to play rookies in their first year and give them strong run. Darnell Wright, of course, because of where he was drafted, was played all last season as your starting right tackle. We saw Jaquan Brisker play his rookie year. We saw Tyreek Stevenson play his entire rookie year, right? We saw Kyler Gordon, same thing. He has no problem playing rookies. Why not put Karan Amageji out there right now on the left side at that left guard position, or if you feel he's your future left tackle and you think he can handle those duties now, maybe you kick Braxton inside the left guard. I don't like that idea greatly because I think Braxton after his first game, I thought he did okay. And is it going to be patch mill? Is it going to be piecemeal? Is it going to be you trying to figure things out on that left side? 100%. But guess what? Right now, you're doing that with the center of your offensive line. And that is a worse situation to be in. When the entire middle of your offensive line is struggling like that, that is the worst situation for me as a football coach in my mind to be in, because now my young quarterback can't get himself set, can't get himself steady. Now, does it fix the Coleman Shelton problem? No. But right now, you don't have a fix for the Coleman Shelton problem. Why not put something great on that offensive line? Why not put something great on that right side? To me, that's the best case scenario that you can have if you get that same level of effort out of Nate Davis on Sunday. If you get that same subpar effort that you saw last Sunday from Nate Davis, the reason that the reason that Matt Eberflus said, "Listen, we don't want to see you out here anymore. We can't do this," and he did put Nate Davis back in the game, but like, after you running naked and Nate Davis touches no one. How do you sit there and preach to these guys that we're putting the best guys out on the field? You know what I mean? Like, I think that you have to, and if you have to make a change, why not make a change for something that you saw be dominant? Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up, showing love. Over 200 in the chat. 200. Shout out to Raging, who's raging in this mug. Said, bro, Nate graded out best on that line. Yeah, we talked about that, though. He did grade out well. We actually did a full video on that. He graded out really well on PFF. The problem with that is your head coach said you're not giving good enough effort and sat Nate down. You're yelling at me about how he graded out on PFF, which even Olin Kreutz, even offensive linemen, I've heard Tommy Waddle say this as well. I've heard Jason McKee say this as well. How the heck can you grade somebody if you don't know what the blocking scheme is? How the heck can you grade somebody if you don't know what they're actually supposed to be doing on the line? Because even Olin has said, I don't know what their blocking scheme is. And he knows offensive line play. So in my mind, yes, he graded well. That's great. But we can see it. I can see that when he's on the field, he's not giving the best effort out of anyone on that line. And that's including the dude who's standing next to him, absolutely getting manhandled. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of people that played the game. Take the word of your head coach who sat him down. Don't come here and say, oh, Pat said he shouldn't play because he's bad. No, your head coach said he was bad. Your head coach sat him down after he runs a bootleg where he touches no one. Right? Did you see that when we watched the tape? after multiple plays of him showing lackluster effort out there, right? Did we see that? There's a reason he was sat down. Let's stop pretending like I don't understand what the defense of Nate Davis is in here from Raging, my guy. Talking about a narrative. Like it's what happened. It's what happened. There's no narrative here. If Nate Davis played well, I'd be praising Nate Davis. He makes $10 million. I want him to play well. You mean when the center whiffed on his assignment? Actually, it seemed like everybody was blocking left because I saw Tevin Jenkins blocking to the left. He cleared his guy. Braxton Jones was blocking to the left. He cleared his guy. Coleman Shelton hit the guy to his left. Nate Davis tapped his guy on the shoulder and said, "Hey, while you back there, man, make sure you lock up before you get up out of here." Because it was a bootleg where the offensive line was going left. But hey, if you want Nate Davis out there, you go tell Matt Eberflus that, because Matt Eberflus didn't. He was benched the next play. He was benched the next play. But hey, that's all you, my guy. That's all you. Hey man, appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's keep this thing going because there was a little bit of good news from today as well. By the way, over 300 in the chat. 300. 211 on the YouTube side, only 45 likes. Hit that like button, bro. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. The Chicago Bears have elevated Colin Johnson back to the roster. Somebody who a lot of Bears fans after that Hall of Fame game had a lot of hope in. Somebody who a lot of Bears fans after that Hall of Fame game thought, hey, this is a really, really good prospect we may have here. But the problem with Colin Johnson is very often, very consistently, he is not healthy. He's not able to stay on the field. With that being said, though, you elevating Colin Johnson, who I think can be a solid player if he can just stay healthy, right? High points the football well. I think he runs really good routes. I think he plays well. You know what I mean? Like, I think he'd be a solid piece there. But I think what it speaks to more is, we heard from Rome Odunze on Friday that he feels healthy. We heard from Rome Odunze on Friday that his injury cannot get worse, that the structure of his knee is sound, and that it's literally just a sprain, basically, and that there's nothing he can do to make the injury worse if he were to go out there and play on it. So maybe we end up seeing Rome out there. But Keenan Allen, DNP, all week is listed as questionable. And that, to me, could mean that we will not see Keenan Allen this upcoming week. That could be an issue offensively for this team, which is why you see a guy like Colin Johnson in there, similar size-wise, a little bit bigger than Keenan, actually. Definitely not the same hands, but want to keep that tall receiver out there that can go out there, high point that football, get those 50-50 balls. Having Rome out there maybe more as a decoy than anything serious in the game, I think is probably the plan there. Here's the thing. You just want to have a guy out there who can take a little bit of attention off of DJ Moore, because they're going to focus everything in on DJ Moore. But here's my big I think I said this yesterday. If you don't do this, you're going to be in a bad situation. You have to be okay force feeding DJ Moore. You have to be okay with it. If you're not going to be okay with it, you're not going to have a ton of offensive weapons out there that you feel comfortable with. Now, you still got your tight end, Shane Waldron. You also need to use Cole Kmet a heck of a lot more. And I think that he will this week because of the limited weapons. But if you're going to look at this wide receiver room right now, and I posted a video and it's going kind of viral off of Twitter, where everybody's seeing what the wide receiver room looks like. It's very different, right? It's DJ Moore, it's Tyler Scott, it's Keenan Allen. It's Tyler Scott, it's Colin Johnson. Like you're not looking at the same names out there in that last practice on Thursday. Now, Roma Dunze, like I said, was limited on Friday's practice, so that does help a little bit more. But at the end of the day, if you're getting Colin Johnson elevated right now, I think that you're in a situation where maybe I don't know if this is long term because you can always send him back down, but maybe at least for this week, you feel like you need to rest that heel of Keenan Allen. How much is that going to affect this offense heading into this Texans game? Again, my big thing, get the running game going. Find a way to get get the running game going in any capacity, right? Get the running game going in any capacity. Because to me, here's my thing. The short passing game is how a lot of these West Coast offenses use the running game. Get it going in that manner. I know that because of Luke Getsy, we are now terrified of hearing the word screen. But screen passes are good. And here's what I mean by that. When I say force feed DJ Moore or get those slow or get those short passes going, right? When I'm talking about that, think back to that Washington game with Justin Fields last season. A lot of those passes where all of a sudden Luke Getsy was like, I'm all in on getting the football to DJ Moore. They weren't passes 40 yards down the field. They weren't dots all over the middle of the field. Some of them were, but for the most part, it was the short passing game, getting the football into DJ's hands and letting him make magic. Ryan Poles talked about how you have to let your playmakers make plays and how Caleb Williams has to lean on his teammates. Well, guess what? This is going to be a game where your offensive line is not going to be the same level of offensive line that you had hoped you were going to have. You're not going to have the wide receiving weapons fully healthy that you had hoped you were going to have. And so, with all that being the case, if you get the short passing game going, you're going to make good things happen because you got players on this team that can make good things happen. Heck, dare I say, even a guy like Tyler Scott in that short passing game with his speed and ability to get away, I'd be fine utilizing him there. DeAndre Carter, who's also in this wide receiver room and had an opportunity for a touchdown on Sunday, right? Like, use those guys in that short passing game because they're guys that can take something and break it a long way. Do not be scared to use your tight ends either. They're out there to be a safety blanket. Cole Kmet is supposed to be your safety blanket. I understand that Gerald Everett is the guy that you brought in, and Cole is more of your inline tight end, right? That's fine. Just have him out there as the extra dump off guy, right? He's over the middle. Oh, we got nowhere to go. Boom, there he is, right there. Like, to me, those are the ways that you make your quarterback's life easy, especially dealing with the situations that you're going into right now. Now, hopefully, right, we see on Sunday the offensive line issues were simply caused by Tavondre Sweat. We see on Sunday that the timing issues were simply caused by Caleb Williams being a rookie and being amped up and excited about what he was doing. We see the drops summed up by week one jitters by some of these guys, right? We see the personnel groupings being summed up by, Shane Waldron maybe hoping that he's going to get a little bit more from the players and the players could make up for certain things. But you got to get the right packages out there. You got to get the right groupings out there. You only had Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Roma Dunze out there for 10 plays. 10 plays. That's bad. Now, you didn't have a ton of time of possession in that first half, but at least in that second half, got to get those guys out there a heck of a lot more. And so we'll see what this ends up being. I think that this Bears team is not in the worst position heading into Houston, but you got to get some things answered quickly. I like the addition of Colin Johnson being brought up to the 53-man roster. I hope that he's somebody who can make the game day roster as well. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let me know how you feel about the Ryan Bates being sent to IR, how you feel about Nate Davis having to step up more. And let me know your thoughts on Colin Johnson being elevated from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. As always, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.